Assalamualaikum. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening, my brothers, my beloved sisters, all of you, wherever you are, what you are really doing right now, in what kind of condition, but I hope everything is running well, sweetly well, beautifully well, wonderfully well. So what you have been planning, Allah has made come true. My beloved brothers and my beloved sisters, again, we are meeting to invite us to be more intelligent, to be more genius, smarter and better in playing the game of life. As far as we live in this world, we can see that there are so many kinds of people wandering around this earth. There are poor people, rich people, middle level, common people, and then very, very rich people. So well, we have already known that people are divided into some levels about their proficiency, about the properties, and about the position they have in the community in the country. My brothers and my sisters, we can know that this kind of people could be because of their education, because of their luck, because of their friends, because of their fathers maybe, their mothers maybe, so that they become maybe top people, rich people, or about wealthy people, popular, and so on. And then the other side, there are some people struggling very hard until they become rich and successful people. Because they are called as successful people, the standard to evaluate this kind of persons, they have luxurious cars, a very big house, maybe employ many people to work in their houses, and then in their companies or whatever. So people call them as successful people. Or they can be presidents, they can be ministers, they can be parliament members, or the kings, or the queens, or emperors, or whatever. But anyway, after all, according to the side of Allah, which one is the best? Among those people I have mentioned, the best people are those who fear of Allah. Because they are fear of Allah, then they follow exactly what Allah wants them to do. And then they also avoid what Allah doesn't want them to do. So prohibition is avoided by them. Commandment is done. Commandments are done. Prohibitions are avoided, or even untouched, even unseen by them, because they are so fearful of Allah. They are so afraid of Allah. They honor, respect, grace Allah in a very high position. My brothers and my sisters, and the other people are this after that kind of this kind of people are exactly close to our God Allah, and then the second best, the third best, and finally the worst one. The worst one will be disconnected with the relationship between us and Allah. My brothers and my sisters, what I'm going to talk about in this video is I'm going to talk about 4 kinds of people in this world. According to pious, godly people who really know the knowledge of religion based upon Al-Quran and Hadith, so Allah's advices and our Prophet Muhammad's advices, that in this world there are four kinds of people. The first group are people who are rich, wealthy in this world, and then they are also going to be very wealthy in the hereafter. And then the second, they are very, very rich here, very successful, popular, well-known and respected, honorable, but in the hereafter they will be very, very poor and suffering and disgraced and noble. So they are not respected, they are not honored by Allah, so they will be very, very poor and suffering. And the third group of people, they are poor people in this world. They don't have very much money, they don't have very big houses, and they also don't have a high position. But in the hereafter, they will be very, very rich, wealthy, honored, respected by Allah, and put in a very, very noble place, that is in the heaven, in the paradise. It is because Allah loves them. And then the fourth, the last group of people are people who really, really poor, very, very poor in this world, poor and very, very poor. And then in the hereafter, they will be very, very, very poor and suffering in a very busy time, so that they cannot understand which one happiness is. So they never find, they never feel at all any happiness. Now I'm going to talk the group one of people who are wealthy in this world and wealthy in the hereafter. This kind of people are like prophets, messengers of God. They used to be very, very rich, but they also were very, very obedient, pious. They used to love Allah more than everything in this world. They used to love Allah until they are ready. They want to sacrifice themselves for the sake of Allah, because Allah commanded them to sacrifice themselves, to invite people, their people, to believe in Allah and to obey Allah, to worship Allah. And these messengers and the prophets of Allah used to be very wealthy because they were given a lot of treasure by Allah. One of them was King Solomon, Sulaiman prophet. An English word, I think, King Solomon, Sulaiman prophet, used to be very rich. He used to have a very, very luxuriously wonderful, incomparably beautiful castle, palace, so that until the end of the day, nobody could be matching his wealth. Because he used to have a special prayer: Ya Allah, would you please forgive my sin, my mistake, and would you please give me power and wealth that you will never give to anybody after me. So this kind of wealth used to be unimaginably beautiful, wonderful. So his technology used to be uncomparable to any technology. Why? Because King Solomon had wind, had wind to become his plane. So if he wanted to move, he just only said, and then he was moved to where he wanted to. And then the other wealthy people in this world and in the hereafter, all people, man or woman, who follow the advices, the characters, the behavior of the prophets of Allah. So the prophets and the messengers of Allah did, the people did too. Whatever the prophets and messengers of Allah spoke, they also spoke. So they tried to follow whatever the prophets did and spoke and acted, even clad when they use clothes. And then the followers of the prophets used to follow those kinds of clothes. So we can say that 100% they followed the way the prophets of Allah and the messengers of Allah did. So this kind of people will be entering the heaven because they were also wealthy and rich, had a lot of money, but they sacrificed for the poor, for the sake of Allah, to build their houses, to take care of. They used to take care of the poor and to love them, and then to give away all the treasure the poor needed. So this kind of people would or could have been called as the prophets, even though they were not prophets. Why? Because they acted, they followed the actions and everything the prophets and messengers of Allah did. So this kind of people would be rich in this world, wealthy in this world, and in the hereafter. And then the second are the people who have a lot of treasure, a lot of money, very popular, called as the richest man in the world, but they don't know how to worship Allah. They don't know who Allah is, and they don't want to know who Allah is. They are rebellious. They ignore the existence of Allah. Oh, this is my treasure, this is my money. I work myself, I toil day and night. I struggle and I sacrifice myself. Why should I believe in Allah? I don't believe in the existence of Allah. I don't want to follow what His wants to me. I don't want any religion. Me, I, my treasure, I just want to do it with my treasure at my will. So they use the treasure, whatever they want, and they use their time, their energy, their age for fulfilling the desire in this world. So this kind of people would be rich in this world, wealthy in this world, very popular, honored, but after they die, they will become very, very miserly, very, very suffering, very, very disgraced, and they will be suffering for never-ending time. Na'udzubillah. May Allah protect us from this kind of people. And then number three, the group of people number three, they don't have very much money, they don't have a very big house, but they follow the advices of the prophets of Allah, the messengers of Allah. So they worship Allah, they use their energy to obey Allah's commandments, they try to avoid the prohibition of Allah, they fear and they love Allah very much. Even though they don't have very much money and a very big house, and their position also, they could be dustmen, they could be labor, they could be office boys, they could be drivers, taxi drivers, they could be very, very poor people, maybe beggars. Yeah, we can say under the common people, or middle age, or, well, I could say as the poor people anyway. People can call them, oh, they are poor. And then after they die, because of their action following Allah's prophets, the prophets of Allah and the messengers of Allah, they will be very, very healthy, very wealthy, very rich. They will be entering the heaven, and they also have kingdom and beautiful wives that already been promised by Allah, that they would be marrying beautiful names for never-ending time. They will be honored by Allah, respected, and every day Allah greeted them. Allah will greet them and then will say, I love you all because you used to love me, you used to obey all my commandments. Even though in the world you were very, very poor, now you have all you wanted in this world, that I didn't fulfill your prayers, your wants, your wishes. Now I give all my promises. You have this kingdom and palaces and gardens and then beautiful rivers, as I promised in my book, the Quran. And please enjoy this as long, and never-ending time. Congratulations to you. Assalamualaikum. So Allah always says to them, because they were poor in the world, and now they become kings of the heaven. And then the fourth will be people who are very, very poor. They don't have very much money, they don't have very big houses, they are not popular, they are not even known by other people, rejected, isolated. People don't want to know them. They also do not want to know that their existence in this world, created by Allah, they have to worship Allah, they have to follow Prophet Muhammad, because Muhammad was the last messenger for them. They never want to know, they don't want to know. They only enjoy their poverty, their being poor. They even do not want to understand what the life is. They keep following many people that also are poor, ignorant about the meaning of life. And then they don't prepare anything for the death. This kind of people will be very, very poor, busy, suffering, disgrace, unhonorable, unhonored, and Allah doesn't want to see them. Why? Because they are called as boastful, poor people. They are illiterate about the hereafter. They are ignorant about the hereafter. They don't want to know, they don't even want to know a slight, tiny about who the God is, who Allah is. Allah is the creator, the maker of the universe, the protector of the universe, and the contents. They don't want to know. So, may Allah protect us from this kind of people. My brothers and my beloved sisters, my beloved sisters and my beloved brothers, I am always inviting you and your family, my family and me, myself, to become more intelligent, smarter and better. May Allah give us as the groups of number 1, if possible, or if not possible, number 3. Number 1, wealthy, rich, popular, well-known in this world, because following Allah and the Prophet, and will be also rich in the hereafter. And number 3, poor in this world, not known, not well-known, not very popular, not many people want to know, but they follow the prophets and the messengers of Allah. They obey to Allah, they love Allah in their poverty, in their poor condition, until they die, and finally they will be kings and they will be loved by Allah as the sustainer, as the promises keeper in the heaven. They will be poor in the world, and kings and very, very wealthy in the heaven that Allah has promised. My brothers and my sisters, I'm loving you, I keep loving you. Please keep tuning on the True Love Network. Keep watching my video. Not wanting to get money, but I really want to become a beloved brother, good brother, that wants to discuss about this very important, crucially important matter. Bye-bye. Assalamualaikum. I love you. Send my best regards to everybody nearby you.